Hello, it's Jill Stannard here, and I realised I haven't posted anything on this channel for some time. So I thought I'd do a little semi-retired life update because it's been 3 months since I saw my last client in naturopathy after 34 years at the coalface of being a clinician. And I had a lot of pros and cons advice before I admitted that I was thinking about semi-retiring. And some of it was, "Oh, it's fantastic, you won't know yourself, what a great move, you're so lucky to be able to retire early." And some of the other was, well, not so positive. It was really think about what you're going to do with yourself, what's going to be your purpose, what's your status. Your status will change. A whole heap of things. So I actually spent a year putting plans into place after I did my initial research. And my number one tip is book a holiday away from home for shortly after you pull the pin on your major full-time work life. So in my case, I finished up at the end of November, but allocated myself a week and a half to do back end stuff, because when you are self-employed, it's not like you clear your desk, wave goodbye, have a farewell drink with your colleagues, get the no one gets a gold clock now, but get a nice farewell present and card. None of that when you work for yourself. You have to create it all for yourself. So there was a lot of back-end stuff that also kind of to do a little bit more when I came back from holiday, but there are a lot of things you have to do. So the things I'm doing now is actually tax stuff. But at that first week and a half, it was working out my subscriptions and ending things that I didn't need, and cleaning up the files. And one big thing I did regarding my naturopathic files is that I have kept every single file since my first client 34 years ago. And I brought them all back up from Melbourne, put them in my attic, the old paper files before I became digital, because so many clients come back over the years. So that's a bit of a tip for practitioners, but it is, we can dispose of them after 7 years, or if you are seeing children, you need to remember that files you need to keep till they are basically turn 25. So till they hit adulthood at 18 plus 7 years, that's when the clock starts. So I had a lot of file sorting, and all the files, which is the majority of them because I've been digital for quite some time, that were applicable went to secure destruction. So if you've been a client of mine in the past, certainly back in the paper file days back in Melbourne, your files, unless you're a child, have been securely destroyed, and I have a certificate to prove it. And that was quite an emotional process, I've got to admit, actually thinking about each one of those clients and their stories. And it was a really interesting process. So I took off on an airplane and went to Penang for 3 weeks. Penang is a really easy place to be a tourist in, and I had an opportunity too good to refuse, which was a friend is living there for 6 months, and I got to stay in a beautiful apartment in a great location. So it was the perfect full stop for me. It was both familiar place, some new things to do. I created new routines. I had such a relaxing, interesting, and also at times meditative 3 weeks away. And came back just before New Year, and it just felt like this is the time of year that we have summer holidays anyway. And then by the end of January, life got busy again. So this past month, since the end of January, has been pretty much something in my diary every day. Now, the last week or so, I have been camping, so this is that wild hair kind of probably got a little bit too much sun look, which is something I could not have done if I had been still seeing clients, because my partner got an opportunity to have a week off unexpectedly, and we could be spontaneous and go away and do things. That is fantastic. I have been seeing mentoring clients. So when I say semi-retired, it's, a mentoring client every week or two, because I support health practitioners in their business, and if they're naturopaths or Western herbalists, also potentially in their clinical practice. So life has been pretty good. The other things that are taking up the spots in my diary is the work I do as a consumer and research. So where I use my lived cancer experience to work with researchers and organisations around improving outcomes for everybody with cancer, but especially it's been a lot of that focus in ovarian cancer and gynecological cancers, and doing a little bit of work in the endometriosis space as well, because that's another lived experience. So semi-retired life, just want you to know that life is good. Life is ridiculously busy in February, and hope all's well with you. Hope you've enjoyed this update. If you did, give me a like. Have a good day.